This is not the best camera for vlogging. This one is. And that's a bold claim, considering this is an action camera and this is a vlogging camera. So, how do we explain that then? Now, I fully understand the irony, I guess, of me saying to you that this is the best vlogging camera you can buy right now, and yet here I am holding it and not using it. I understand that, but not being sponsored or anything like that, I can't afford to have two of these, one working and one not working, so I'm making use of what we've got. Okay, this little camera was first launched in September 2024, and I bought this one, mine, a month later when I was out in New York. So I bought this in October 2024 and have used it pretty much non-stop ever since for all sorts of different activities. This is legit my go-to camera, whether it is taking my Garmin Fenix 8 out on a trip to London with Zoe and some friends, or working in the gym, or popping down the beach, or doing activities, snowboarding, skiing, jet skiing, all that kind of good stuff. This is the one that I reach for. It's that good. So why is it that good? Let's drop in to the first thing here. This is idiot proof. I've said this before in a previous video. You can watch that one by clicking up here, but this is legit idiot proof. I know it's idiot proof because I can use it. That tells you everything you need to know. Straight out of the box, the only thing I would suggest you do is charge it up, although most of the time I suspect there is some charge, so that you could just start recording whatever it is you're wanting to record. You don't even need to put a memory card in this thing. It is good to go. This little button on the top here, this is the record button. It does some other things as well. Let me show you. One button operation to cover everything, all eventualities. Look at this. Press this little button on the top, the record button. Press that button once. It turns on. It starts recording. Thank you. Press this button on the top again. It stops recording and turns off. This little button on here, brilliant. One button, sorted. Number two here, right, size and portability. This thing is very small, like it is literally in the fist of your hand, no worries at all. You're a vlogger. You need something that's discreet. You don't want some massive camera with a big old boom microphone on and one of those massive Joby Gorilla Pod things walking around the place. Let's say you're going off traveling around Thailand and you want to document your trip so that you can post here on the YouTubes, but you've not done this before. You want to keep it a little bit discreet. Well, this thing is small enough that you can do that. A real life example. This is me on a night flight back from Tampa a few weeks ago. I've got the camera set up just behind me while I am editing a previous video. That gives you an idea of how discreet this thing is, all right? Pocket friendly. You don't need anything other than this camera itself. Now, the distant cousin to this thing is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and that has a gimbal on it as well as subject tracking or active tracking. Let me give you an example. That's what I'm filming on right now. Hold on. Active track is now enabled, which means you're going to follow me around the room. I'm going to turn that off though, because I don't want you getting seasick. That would be bad, wouldn't it? This can do it as well, but there's no gimbal. This has subject tracking. What you're seeing now is me dancing around the gym, again on a previous video, talking about how good this thing is. Subject tracking. It can follow me around the gym, which is good. However, there's a couple of things you want to think about here, or certainly some things that we need to know about. I've just discovered this first one. I switched on subject tracking and it had turned me into vertical, so 9:16. Which I thought was a bit weird, so I've switched that around. So just pay attention to that. The other thing you need to know as well is it will only record in 2.7K. Still at 24 frames per second, but we're down 4K down to 2.7. And I think in order to track me around, I'm moving around. You could be dancing in the gym, doing all that kind of stuff. In order to do that, it's cropping the screen in a little bit. So if I go too far, la la la, I'm off screen. Is it gonna pick me back up? Has it got me again? Has it followed me over here? If you go too far out, it's going to drop you off the screen. but you can set this up so that it will follow you around and give you that professional looking shot where it seems like the camera is following you. It's all built into here. The ultimate vlogging tool. This now brings us on to point number 4. There are those of us amongst us who like to shoot video that's suitable for the social media channels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, Bebo, MySpace, all that kind of stuff. That means you need to or should try and shoot in a vertical format. Well, in order to do that with this camera, it is as simple as doing that. I've just turned the camera from a landscape to portrait. I don't need to do anything else. There's no change in resolution, no cropping of images. Everything is all the same. I've just turned it 90 degrees one way to the other. We're back around on this ease, convenience, and simple to use, idiot-proof tech. It's brilliant. The 5th point here. This is a use anywhere in any environment camera. Here in the Batcave, next door in the gym, absolutely fine. Taking it through an airport, going through the subway, walking along the beach, going snowboarding, going jet skiing, going mountain biking, throwing it around, dropping it accidentally. This is the do it all, go anywhere camera. You can't be frightened of using this because you can damage it, of course you can. It would be silly of me to say that you couldn't. But the fact that this is an action camera means that it's pretty well built, nice and rugged. And if you do drop it, it really doesn't matter that much. Zoe and I have recently come back from Florida. I took this, I had my phone with me, and the Osmo Pocket 3 that I'm talking to you on now. The Pocket 3 stayed in the bag the whole time because this was so easy to use, and I wasn't worried about getting sand in it or salt water in it from the Gulf of America, Mexico. And I wasn't worried about it getting knocked over when, we're on holiday, might have had a couple of drinks. I just wasn't worried about it. It did everything I asked of it, and it fits in my pocket. Superb. Okay, bonus feature time. Set this up on your tripod, way off in the distance to capture that shot. Connect your phone to it. Open up the DJI Mimo app. Control everything you need to control on here, through here, from distance. Change your exposure values, your white balance settings. You can do everything you can do on the camera using that Mimo app. So like I said, you can set that camera up, you can get that nice arty shot. But let's say you have set your frame rate incorrectly. It's like, oh no, how am I going to get that natural motion blur of cyclists going past? I need to change my frame rate, but the camera's all the way over there and I'm a bit tired and I can't be bothered to walk all the way over there. Well, it's on your phone. So you fire up the phone, open up that Mimo app, bosh, you're in, which is great. So we have a few things here which indicate why this camera, in my opinion, is the best camera for vloggers. In fact, this is the best all-round camera. However, there's no such thing as the perfect camera. So what can't this one do? Well, let me show you something. Standing here now talking to you, I'm in focus. Hopefully I'm in focus. The background, ever so slightly blurry or out of focus. You're focused on me, background out of focus. If I then hold up the Action 5 to my lens, that is now in focus and the background is really out of focus. And then I take the camera away and then I'm back in focus. Chop and change. It can't do that. If it could, I think that would make it the perfect all-rounder. I mean, it is the best all-rounder, but it isn't perfect, at least not yet anyway. Now, if you are considering taking this for your travels, using it for vlogging, and I suggest you do, you really should, you may want to think about how best to achieve that cinematic look that everybody seems to keep bouncing around the place. Well, if that's of interest to you, you can find out how to do that using this camera by watching this video just here. Give that one a watch. There's a few tips and tricks on there that I've discovered. how best to use this to get that cinematic look. All right, as ever, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.